Good afternoon. It is day 7 of the International Great Black Read Aloud Day. My name is Robinson, and I am very excited to be here with you this afternoon. I know there are plenty of people here in America getting ready for the Super Bowl, in fact, across the world, getting ready for Super Bowl. And so we're still going to read today. We're still going to read. Today is young adult and teen, and our selection today comes from Tribal Echoes by Nkem DenChukwu, and we are going to read a selection out of here called The Silent Prayer. And let's get started. It is titled, it's chapter 22, The Silent Prayer, Daily Philosophy. Life can be hard. Life can be so cruel. Yet life is beautiful in all its excerpts. The silent screams are many of men loud in their ears. Some will say, I will survive only if I tried harder. There would be no room for regrets or mistakes. I have no control of the storms that come with each season. Yesterday is gone. If I tried today, it could get better tomorrow. Newton's law of motion emphasized change is the only constant thing in life. As long as we are blessed with this gift of life, it will take different turns to get us to where we belong. Being strong is our only option in this puzzle called life. There is no other choice but strong. Life Lessons 101. We say a silent prayer now and then. We hide in our smiles and even in our jokes. Sometimes we live our lives in persona shifts, hoping that others would see us other than which we really are. We dwell in instances while dying in silence. One of the worst self-destructing behaviors is bottled emotions. It is death slow in coming. It's only natural to cry when your heart is heavy. It is very important and natural to always remember God. But the way it is with most people, they remember God more when they are in need of his help. Many people dream of coming to America with the hope of making better lives for themselves and for their families. Some Americans, with all the enviable rights and privileges afforded to them, are still ignorant. In fact, they are blessed to have been born in the States, the world's greatest country. Those people not fortunate to have been born in America, not all, love to trade places with any American, at least for a day. Many Africans have died in process of trying to become permanent U.S. residents. The struggle to make one's own life better remains the driving force behind most endeavors. Walk with me to the end that marked the beginning of God's work in a silent prayer. In this short story, it was a silent prayer of a child, a prayer constantly said by a 14-year-old Chidumabi, God lives with me, aka Dumabi. He had just received a letter from the United States INS Immigration and Naturalization Services office stating that he had won the diversity visa lottery. It was Christmas in July for him, a dream come true for everyone in his family. Dumabi sponsored his relocation to the United States by doing odd jobs. His mother was happy and sang songs for everyone to hear. For a while, she was sad, knowing that her son would soon leave her. She knew she would be alone and somehow dreaded that moment even before it came. Dumabi was a product of rape. In most African countries, it is an abomination to have a child out of wedlock. For this reason, her family disowned Dumabi's mother. She had nowhere else to run to but to her church for support. She found refuge there. Dumabi was her life. Her experience as a rape victim was a burden she would carry with her for a long time. She knew she would eventually allow her son to be independent. She had raised him, teaching him all the right things, and had made sure his childhood and young adult expectations were pleasant experiences. At 14, Dumabi turned out to be an example of how every teenage boy ought to be. The Dumeby to leave his home and travel to the United States came. Just before he left, he held hands with his overly emotional mother, and together they submitted all their petitions to God. Amazingly, both mother and son said the exact same silent prayer without knowing they had. All mother could do was cry as Dumeby arrived at the airport security gate. With Dumeby, tears had formed in his eyes. He had no shame crying for his mother. She didn't leave her son after he had boarded the plane. She stood there beyond the fences to watch the plane in its cloudy skies. He was gone. She was now all alone. America is populated by people of all races. Dumeby was intimidated by one common factor experienced by many before him: an accent. An accent makes each of us unique. However, he was very excited to be in the United States. He was young, so it was easier for him to imbibe the American culture quite easily. He did that in a short period of time. He communicated with his mother occasionally. Shortly after his relocation, the aunt he was living with died. Dumeby was still under 18 years old and therefore was not considered of legal age. The state took possession of him and placed him in foster care. He did not understand what it meant to be a foster child in a foster home with many other teenagers. Again, he said a silent prayer to ameliorate what he saw becoming a harsh ending. Foster homes are like playing the lotto. Only the lucky ones draw the lucky numbers. Life in a foster home is not determined by cracking a fortune. Good foster homes happen by chance and not by choice. Dumeby's path to his life's destination was altered when he became one of the teens at a foster home. Another way one could get lost in America. At this point, he lost all communication with his mother. Life lived in hell for Dumeby. His mother was also living in misery, not sure what had happened to her only son. Just like her son, she knew best. Her silent entreaties to God were endless and persistent. Dumeby became one of the many young adults who got lost in the American system of foster care. He lived here with 6 other teenage boys. Sibling rivalry was alive and full play. It was a volcano waiting to erupt. In every bad situation, Dumeby could only do one thing: he prayed silently. His foster brothers decided to nickname the dummy because he was not noisy, rude, indecent, callous, mischievous, arrogant, greedy, and was a lot intelligent than they were. Dumeby was young, but had the wisdom of a sage. Eventually, he understood the system. He knew his only way to get out to reach the legal age of 18. He had less than 4 years to wait for his freedom. He focused on getting an education and eventually a job so he'd be take care of himself and his mother back home in Nigeria. While he planned on his future, the devil was working hard to derail all of that. Things come with obstacles. Well, not always. It takes the grace of God and total submission to him to overcome the bottom feeder, the devil. At 17, Dumeby gained admission into the state university. His foster mother was so proud of him, while his foster brothers were honestly consumed with jealousy over his successes. His foster brothers' efforts leaned toward illegal drug business and consumption. The life of a drug addict is the life of illusion. Dumeby had just finished saying his night prayers when he heard the sirens in the distance. He looked up and looked up. Dumeby saw lights flashing. Police cars, 3 of them were in their driveway. Then he heard the knock. The cops had come to his house. "Open up, police." Someone barked out the order. His foster mother opened the front door, and then Dumeby was arrested for the murder of his foster brothers. His brother was shot in the head outside of a club. Dumeby's photo identification card was found at the crime scene with blood stains. Dumeby had no alibi, but he had God on his side. He had not shot or murdered anyone. He was nowhere near the crime scene, but he could not prove his innocence. Pretty soon, he was indicted for the crime. The case went to court. He was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The path to his destiny suddenly took a turn for the worse. Only this time seemed like a dead end. He cried and pleaded his innocence, but it was his word against his foster brothers. They accused him of an act they knew he had no part in. Dumeby was taken to prison. He had just turned 18 years of age. I have raised part of chapter 22, a selection out of Tribal Echoes by Nkem DenChukwu, from her book Tribal Echoes, and it is called a Silent Bear, and it's a very good story, very good book. So I encourage you to get a copy and finish reading the story about Dumeby and his mom and what happens to him in this moving short story about a young teen male from Nigeria who ends up in the United States of America. It is in day 7 of the International Great Black Read Aloud Day. We want to encourage you to get something that is related to young and teens, written by someone who's Black, because that's what we're doing with the Great Read Aloud Day, is we are giving voice to words written by people around the world. We're doing it all month, every single day this month. We will be reading, and it's Black History Month here in the United States of America, but we want everyone to read around the world. Get something, read something. There's something every day that we are sure you can enjoy. We want to invite you, ensure you can enjoy and share with the world as well, because we want you to read aloud, go online, read, go live, record it or post it, and share it with the world. Give voice to something. We want to invite you to follow us on social media at Read Aloud. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Subscribe to our site, because beyond this month, we will have other days, Black Read Aloud, that we will announce, and you want to be ready. You want to be ready to read. Who knows? There could be a awesome future out there for you, because someone heard you read and they want you to read their book. Anyway, we just hope everyone has a fantastic day today. We want to remind what's coming up tomorrow. And tomorrow is another day of the International Great Black Read Aloud Day. And tomorrow is humor. So tomorrow is a wonderful day to laugh. So find an article, find something written by someone Black that is humorous, that will make you laugh, that will bring a smile to someone's face, bring a chuckle. And tomorrow is humor. And so we look forward to you joining us tomorrow on the International Great Black Read Aloud Day. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening, and may your team win as long as your team has on red. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.